So you can think of these as a remote USB hub. This guy plugs into your computer and an Ethernet cable, and then this guy plugs into the Ethernet cable and up to 4 USB-A peripherals. And this is a USB 3.2. It says up to 330 feet of extension. I've tested it with a 100-foot roll of Cat6 cable and it worked fine at 100 feet. Now you might notice there's a power jack at both ends, but there's only one adapter provided. And that's because whichever end you plug into supplies power over Ethernet to the other end. So if you have power where your peripherals are, you can plug this guy in, and the plug goes in and then it screws on, so it's not going to accidentally come unhooked. You plug this end and then you run this guy out to wherever your computer is, and this guy will be powered by the cable. Or if you have power where your computer is, which is a little more likely, you can plug this guy in to the kind of transmitter side that goes over by the computer. They call it the sender that's hooked up by the computer. And so you can power this guy, and you can get 1.5 amps on these two and 1 amp each on these two over that Ethernet cable. Now, this guy was high speed. I plugged in, a solid-state drive directly to my computer. I tried transferring a big file. I transferred a whole bunch of little files, and then I put it at the end of 100 feet of Ethernet cable, plugged it in. I couldn't tell the difference in transfer speed. It was basically doing exactly the same speed, regardless of if this unit was connecting it or if it was connected directly to the computer. So you could, hook up a webcam, stream HD video, have a remote hard drive. All of that's going to work very well. Really, the only downside to these units is the price. It is kind of, a prosumer, pro type of device, so it's up there in price. But if you need USB peripherals located hundreds of feet away from a computer, this is a nice, easy way to extend that kind of USB connection via an Ethernet cable, standard Cat6, Cat7 Ethernet cable. They also come with little brackets here, so you can screw them under a shelf or under a desk, up against a wall, something like that, if you want to mount them. Now, one thing they don't come with is you will need to provide your own 9-pin SuperSpeed USB-B connector cable. So you have to provide your own cable to plug the sender into your computer. Now, the MSRP on this device is $280. They've sent it to me for free to review, but they haven't paid me for my video, and my opinions remain my own. So I've obtained a USB 9-pin B connector. So this is the kind of, you might have heard of as SuperSpeed connector. It's not a super common cable. It has this kind of SS on the bottom of it. And so that will plug into a USB 3A port with full capabilities. And of course we have to provide our own Ethernet cable. They say it has a 300-foot range. I only have 100 feet of this Cat6 Ethernet cable, and most of it is just in this big roll here, that I have over here near where I have a plug-in. When I plug this guy into the Ethernet cable and put power in, anything I plug in here should be just as if I plugged it into the laptop. So, power this guy up. So plug that guy in. The indicator lights on the other side says it has power, it has link, and it has USB, which it's plugged into my laptop. Now on the laptop side of things, it's not plugged into power, it's getting the power over that power over Ethernet cable. When you plug this guy in, it basically identifies as a SuperSpeed USB hub. So I also plugged in a USB webcam, so I can see what's going on in the other room. And I can't wave my hand over there while I'm here filming, but hey, there's the mouse. I plugged in a wireless mouse here to try to take the mouse into my computer and demonstrate it working, but the little 2.4 gigahertz wireless mouse radio doesn't work as far as the Ethernet cable does. But I have verified that if I move the mouse out here, the pointer on my computer moves. It is detecting and connecting to the mouse correctly. So you can have 4 devices plugged into the remote transceiver. Of course, if you unplug this guy, your video feed goes away, your hard drive disappears and so forth. All those peripherals go away. Each device also includes a USB-C port. This is for service. I'm assuming it's like a firmware update type thing. They say there's no drivers required, so presumably out of the box they should be ready to go. But if they need to, I assume they can provide some type of a firmware update via that service port.